Did you know that your body is constantly sending you messages about what needs attention? Your subconscious is always talking to you through your body. If you're having injuries that reoccur, then there's something that is trapped within your system, the emotional or mental trauma of something from the past. And today we're going to explore that by looking at Cam Murray, who's suffered a season-ending injury just this week. I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality, find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. So poor old Cam Murray is injured again. He's taken a battering, it seems, the last few years, a number of longer-term injuries. I want to tell you what I've noticed and also dive deeper into the meaning of some of these injuries, because our body is always talking to us. It's always telling us what needs attention, particularly if they're repeat injuries. Now, last year, when South was struggling, his teammate Latrell Mitchell's out injured, getting himself into trouble. Cam Murray was the captain, and he's having to face these press conferences again and again and again, answering these questions. What's going on? Having to defend people, having to be the spokesperson for the mess that they were in start of last year. And you could see the pressure getting to him. And I remember thinking at the time, like, he's going to reach breaking point. And sure enough, he got injured not long after that. So rather than have to face that anymore, subconsciously you manifest an injury so you don't have to continue to be that spokesperson. Now, anyone that's had to do a role like that, not in the public eye, maybe in a work scenario or a personal scenario where you're having to continue to stand up and defend different situations, and it is exhausting. Now, imagine doing that in the public eye. Imagine doing it like a high-profile team like Souths that have such high expectations and such a demanding fan base, and also attract a lot of attention for a variety of reasons. You got a movie star, one of the owners is a movie star, Russell Crowe. There's so many different reasons why they attract a lot of attention. But the pressure just too much, and sometimes something literally breaks. Now, it was his hip at that point. Hip's all about moving forward. Maybe at that point he couldn't see the path forward. Like they'd experienced a lot of injuries. There obviously wasn't a happy camp. There was all sorts of sniping coming from the outside, and maybe there was a real reluctance to move forward. I know that's the tell for me. Whenever my hips start playing up a bit, I'm thinking, okay, well, what am I worried about? What am I concerned about, or maybe even a little bit fearful about moving towards? Or maybe where am I feeling like I can't move forward, or I'm feeling stuck? And that's, I imagine, where exactly Cam Murray would have been when that injury came. Thankfully, last year he had a quick recovery. He's back playing Origin in not too long a time. But now, before a ball's even been kicked in anger for the season proper, he's pretty much out for the season with a torn Achilles. Now, Achilles has a lot of different meanings. You think about the mythical version, the Achilles heel, it's that point of weakness. And of course, when we talk about the body, there's that element comes into it as well. Sometimes it's similar to what I was talking about in yesterday's episode, that one area that we actually have strength can sometimes be the place where it feels like a weakness. And quite possibly that's what was playing out for him. But what the Achilles also does is it provides support. So your feet, the meaning around feet is very much the ability to stand on your own 2 feet. And just quickly, there is a whole lot of science around this. There's massive bodies of work that come from a different angle. Chinese medicine, kinesiology, there's so many different angles that this work around the body talks. There's a fantastic book, The Body Keeps the Score, how our bodies store stress. They store the emotions from moments from our past. This guy studied people, war veterans coming back from war, and he did this whole body of work around it. It's a fascinating book. So this is not just a spiritual thing that comes from like a pseudoscience, although there is an element of it being somewhat inconclusive, shall we say. But what I know is that the stuff that is grounded in these areas of certainty, they actually absolutely prove to be true. I've been through it myself. I've helped people with it. There's a video from a woman, Penny, that I helped a few years back that had a hip injury. She'd tried massage, she'd tried acupuncture, she tried all these different things and it wasn't working. And we looked for the root cause, which was around not moving forward after the death of her grandparent, who'd been such an influential member of her life for her when she was growing up. And the pain went and it didn't come back, and she was just blown away. She's like, I can't believe, like, one short session and that's gone. And the pain came back once, and she did the meditation I'd given her and it went again, and she's never had pain there again. I've had so many similar scenarios with different body parts, because when you remove the emotional cause, then it goes. So if you look at Cam Murray, again, the Achilles heel, support, right side of the body is usually a masculine support, left side feminine support. Is he getting enough support? Is he able to stand on his own 2 feet? Is he getting supported to stand on his own 2 feet? There's so many different levels. So I'm not going to pretend to be the expert in this area and say this is definitively what it is. But what I know is that's what it means. And maybe at this point, they've got a big year ahead, but he's still traumatized by the previous year where he had to do a lot of the speaking for the team on his own. He didn't feel supported. He wasn't able to stand on his own 2 feet. And maybe part of him was looking at this year, despite the fact that the guru Wayne Bennett's come back and the stars are looking fit, but maybe there's a big part of doubt about whether they've actually got the team to do it, and some of that doubt's starting to play out, and again, quite possibly manifested in injury subconsciously, right? This is not a conscious thing. This is not him not wanting to play the year, although there might be some of that too. It's a subconscious thing. Get an injury, don't have to worry about the pressure. The first time I learned about this was when I was 20 and I broke my leg extremely badly, spiral fracture. Now, when my uni friends found out, they said they got chills because, and I don't remember this, but apparently the day before I'd said to all of them rather publicly, I was way behind with the whole of assessment task. There's about 4 things I had due. We had prac teaching coming up, which I was scared of. And I said, it's all right, I'll break my leg tomorrow. I won't have to worry about any of it. And that's exactly what happened. I manifested that injury and I didn't have to worry about any of those things. What I did have to worry about was completing the end of my uni course when everyone else has finished, well into the end of that year and into the next year, to make sure I had the credits to make sure I actually got through in 4 years instead of having to come back and do another half year. The power of the mind, that would have seemed like a legitimate out. In my head, I was thinking broken leg, get on crutches. Actually, when I went to hospital that night, I was thinking, oh yeah, they'll put me in a cast, I'll be back out and I'll be celebrating the team because we'd had a good win that day. Little did I know that I'd be going in for surgery in the morning and I'd be out of sport for 18 months. So be careful what you wish for. So very much the body will talk to us, and I feel for people who get injured, particularly when they are reoccurring injuries. You look like someone like Tom Trbojevic. I remember thinking about Michael Clark when he was playing towards the back end of his career and he was getting back injuries consistently. That was at a time where he'd had to take on the captaincy. A lot of those big names had left. He had a younger team and he was feeling like he was carrying the team on his shoulders. And so put all that weight on his back, plus he had a whole lot of stuff going on in his personal life and his back went. And that happened to me as well. So if you have an injury, be open to a different way of looking at it. I've had people help me heal injuries that my sports doctor, who I still trust and still use for different injuries, he said there's not much else we can do. And then I've gone somewhere else and they've found a way. So keep an open mind, look for different solutions. And if it's a recurring injury, it's looking at the root cause. Is there something that's playing out more sinister? And if you know someone working in this space at that high level, particularly if they're elite athletes that are having these continual injuries, then hook me up. I'd love to work in that space and take what I'm already doing for other people and take it at that level where the impact won't just be on what that'll do for that person, but the impact that will have on communities, because how many people are connected to their favorite players, and often it's the highly emotionally sensitive player that gets those recurring injuries because they feel like they are carrying the load for everyone else. I'll leave it there. Something to think about. For some of you, this may have stretched your beliefs, but I hope so, because that's part of the intention for this, is to open your mind to new ways of looking at the world and at yourself. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.